So it's
Do you think
viewed
Reagan
as
was a good
America,
president or no?
I think Reagan was a good president. He was too conservative for me, but I think he was a good president, yeah.
Did he?
Not a great one, but a good one.
My friend and I, a guy who's coming in after you leave, a comedian, we had a big screaming match because you were saying Reagan didn't care about poor people at all. The AIDS argument, I didn't...
Get ready yet.
But no, Keith was saying, he's saying Reagan
okay.
didn't give a shit about poor people.
Yeah.
Well, that gets too personal. In other words, I don't think these people go home and say, oh, I don't care about if poor people die or starve to death. So it's not that.
It's funny.
And actually says that on the radio.
Jesus.
But I do think there is a political point of view. You know, there's a reason why most wealthy people are Republican. There's a reason. And it's not because they're bad people, but because wealthy people can mostly afford things, at least in their own mind, by themselves. They don't need the public school. They can afford a private school. They don't need the public health clinic because they can afford their own doctors. They don't need the public schools because they afford the private schools, as I said. They can afford their own homes, their own transportation, their own recreation. So therefore, since they don't see themselves as getting a lot from the government, they then start having lack of sensitivity. Why should I pay taxes? I don't use any of those services. Without looking at the bigger picture, that the reason we have a wonderful country is, and they have their wonderful lives is because we have a wonderful country where everyone before them pitched in.
Do you realize, though, there's a lot of people that have money, I'll include myself in this, that pay a lot of taxes and don't want to pay more taxes? I feel I'm doing my part. And then to be told that I'm not patriotic, I'm not doing enough, when every quarter I am writing unbelievable checks. I pay for a school system, which I understand. I want to live in a nice neighborhood. It's going to cost me. But I write that check and I pay a lot of taxes. And then to be told that I'm not doing enough really is kind of a slap in the face. And I haven't always had money, Jerry, believe it or not. Yeah. To look at me, you'd think, I've been rich my whole life.
He's blue blood.
But, boy, let me tell you. So to achieve something in life, in this country, and then to be told you're not doing enough makes people very resentful. I'm not talking about the faceless corporation that is like not paying any taxes, getting refunds after billions of dollars of revenue. I'm just saying the guy that is making $250,000, even more than that would fall into that category, gets very resentful being told he's not doing enough when every day you're being told to do more and do more. That's okay. Where I get.
And my answer is first of all, I don't know that every day they're being told do more. Here's what I'm saying. It's interesting. This discussion never came up when we invaded Iraq. This discussion never came up when we went into Afghanistan. It is amazing. You never talk about money when we start to fight a war. You never, when 9/11, horrible. There wasn't one of us here in America that said, how much is it going to cost to go and get the Taliban, to go and get Osama bin Laden?
Exactly.
No one asked a penny. And yet, here's the reality. Let's say 1/100th of 1%, not 100th, 1/1,000,000th of 1% of all Americans will ultimately meet their end by happening to be in a building that gets hit by a plane. 1/1,000,000th of 1% of us will leave this planet because of that horrible event. 99.9% of us will leave this planet because of a disease or an accident. So we know in the end that disease or accident is what is going to kill us and our loved ones. We know that's the enemy. And yet, we get so resentful if we are going to spend money to make sure that all Americans are in a position to at least fight off disease. If you love America, you wouldn't worry if someone that you don't even know gets killed in a building that gets hit by a plane. You are fine to spend that money. Thank you for being a good humanitarian and doing that. I think we should. But I want that same feeling when someone's dying of cancer, when someone's dying of diabetes. Why are we all of a sudden said, Obamacare, like a snooty kind of thing? You know what? If I am so privileged to live in America and to make a lot of money here in America, if I got to pay a little bit more, you know what? I don't want to live anyplace else. This is the best country in the world. And if my dues get to be a little bit higher, am I going to now starve? Do I now have to sell my house? Do I have to get rid of my child? I mean, this business of whining. I'm not saying that people that are making $30,000 a year, $50,000, $100,000, $150,000 need to spend more. But when people are making millions of dollars a year, do you know I don't pay any more? I don't pay any more in the payroll tax than a person who makes $100,000 a year. I make, let's say several million. Okay, so I make millions, and I don't pay 1 penny more in the payroll tax than someone who earns $100,000 a year. You think that's fair? There's nothing fair about that.
There's also nothing fair about the other side, too. There's certain things in our tax laws that are not fair, I think, both ways. And again, I just don't like the fact that 50% of the country isn't paying taxes. I don't like the fact that the top 10% pay 90% of the 99% of the taxes. But I do like your point.
You can allow him to just have that moment.
No, he made it.
That was an amazing moment right there.
He made a great point.
That was an amazing moment.
Liberal shit.